when Dylan Sullivan took a new type of hallucinogen, I was forced to give myself to him to curb the effects. Innately fertile, I got pregnant, giving birth to fraternal twins, a boy and a girl. After marrying him, however, Dylan refused to let them call him daddy, drinking away the nights while staring at the picture of his one true love. Then, on our 10th anniversary, he locked us up in the basement and burnt us to death. As it turns out, he remained hung up on that moment when I saved him all. This time, stubbornly convinced I intervened when he was vulnerable to satisfy my ambitions that in turn drove a rift between himself and his one true love, whose heartbreak led to psychosis and the accident that killed her. But I somehow opened my eyes to find myself alive, returning to the day Dylan took the hallucinogen by mistake. This time, I let his one true love have him while I headed towards the study. Chapter Hurry. Dr. Jones, Mr. Dylan is getting worse. My body shuddered uncontrollably as the butler Levi's voice boomed in my ears, as the agony of being consumed in a blaze still lingers on every inch of my skin. Even now, I could still hear my twin screams of despair echoing in that basement. On top of that, I was caught by surprise. Dr. Jones, no one addressed me as that ever since I married Dylan Sullivan. That was when Levi sighed. It's supposed to be his birthday. Heaven knows how this happened. I stopped in my tracks, so I had been reborn. Taking a deep breath, I turned toward Levi and said, "Get Lily Bright." That left Levi stunned. "But, Doc, get Lily Bright," I repeated bluntly, "or Dylan might die." I then watched as Levi hurried away, clutching my chest as my heart pounded. In my past life, the instant I opened that door, Dylan would leap on top of me like a raging beast, pinning me down. Levi had been right outside, but completely ignored my cries. Later on, I got pregnant and married Dylan, while I believed it was the beginning of a blissful life for me. It turned out to be the continuation of a nightmare instead. Dylan hated me for taking advantage of him, for taking away his one true love. That was why he neglected and humiliated me, forbidding our children from calling him daddy. Then, on our 10th wedding anniversary, he locked up me and the twins in the basement and set fire to the house. "Mommy," the twins' cries amidst the inferno broke my heart. Hence, at the present, I fought back my swelling hatred and lowered my collar, turning in the direction of the study. If I remembered correctly, John Sullivan, Dylan's father, had been drugged as well. The Sullivans always had problems producing heirs, and as the only son, Dylan's place was secure even though he was conceived through IVF. But what if he wasn't John's only child? As I opened the door of the study, I found John sitting limply on the armchair made of genuine leather, his face flushed and his necktie dangling loosely from his collar. His eyes lit up like he found salvation when he saw me, and he pulled me over to him. The next morning, my clothes were in tatters as I left the study, and ran headlong into Lily Bright as she left Dylan's room, whose face was bright as a button. She paused when she saw me, and soon grinned in contempt. "What's the hurry, Dr. Jones? Perhaps your conscience hurts. I guess it is a little too much, seducing a geezer for the sake of wealth and status." I shot her a cool look. "Funny, since I could say the same about you." Chapter Lily's face fell, but she soon snorted. Now, you're wrong there, Doc. I'm not the same as you. You see, I'm going to be Dylan's official wife, while you're just going to be paid some money and told to leave." I had to lower my eyes to hide my worry. She was right. In my last life, it had been a maid who entered John's study, and she was paid off before being told to leave. However, one thing separated me from that maid. I was very fertile, which was the reason why I was arranged to marry Dylan in one swift stroke. Looking pointedly at Lily's maid uniform, I shrugged. "Just watch your back, Ms. Bright." That was when Dylan stepped out of his room, putting his arm around Lily's shoulders as he asked tenderly, "Are you alright? Why don't you rest a little more?" Lily lowered her head shyly. "I still have work to do. I can't goof off for too long." Then, she looked up at me pointedly. "I'm not Dr. Jones, after all."